All right, we're gonna go ahead and call the Board of Zoning Appeals to order at 5:10 PM. Roll call.
Mr. Golis,
Here.
Mr. Vukotic,
Here.
Mr. Andrus,
You gotta unmute, Dave.
Here.
Perfect.
Mr. Reed,
You gotta unmute, Bill.
Here.
Chairman Rowe.
All right, here. Okay, can I get an approval of the May 13th, 2020 regular meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second Ron Vukotic.
Roll call.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Vukotic,
Yes.
Mr. Golis,
Yes.
Mr. Andrus,
Yes.
Chairman Rowe.
Yes. All right, before we get started, I just want to let everybody know that this is an open meeting that has been approved due to House Bill 197, Section G 0351-2. We are allowed to host this through a Zoom call. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. When I call your waiver request, just make sure whoever's on the Zoom call just gives us a little background. Just unmute yourself. Otherwise, everybody keep muted unless we call upon you to unmute. And then when your waiver request gets brought up, just give us a little background on the waiver request that you're looking for and seeking. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. First is W1640-20, waiver of ordinance 182-2006, section 1155.01C relating to accessory structures. The location is 1322 Towers Road. The applicant owner is Richard Kuchar. Is Richard Kuchar here? I'm not seeing a name by anybody here that looks like a Richard Kuchar. I guess what we'll do is we'll shift to the next waiver and see if Richard shows up. Next waiver is W1641-20, waiver of ordinance 182-2006, section 1155.04B8 relating to swimming pool suspension. The location is 1675 Grand Bay Drive. The applicant owner is Jason Kamileski. I think he's here.
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
So just state your name, your address, and then give us a little bit more information on the reason you're seeking this variance request.
Jason Kamileski. I live at 1675 Grand Bay Drive. Essentially, we hired a fence contractor and a pool contractor. They put in the pool and the fence right around the same time. The fence, 3/4 of the fence went up before the pool. We left one side of the fence out, had the pool put in. Then the fence contractor came back, closed up the fence after the pool was in. At no time did anyone, either the fence contractor or my pool contractor, inform me that the code was 48 inches, not 36. We basically put the 36-inch fence in to match our neighbor's fence. So, yeah, so we assumed after all that everything was fine. We assumed all the permits and everything were signed off on. And we basically got this in the mail, I don't know, saying that we're out of code by 12 inches. And again, no one really at any time told us that 48 inches was a code. We hired 2 contractors who we thought were taking care of this sort of thing for us. So at this point, to take the fence down would obviously cost us a whole new fence, but also one side of it's actually owned by a neighbor. And like I said, theirs is already 36 inches. So we would have to go to our neighbor and take down part of their fence and essentially make their fence, a third of their fence, not match the other third of their yard. So We're just requesting a variance, and that's all I've got for right now.
All right, I guess I'm gonna lean on the commissioner, Jim, to maybe weigh in, or Mark, I guess maybe Jim and Mark. So this has been an issue, it's happened more than once in the city where we've got fence contractors coming in and there's not a permitting process for this. So we're stuck in a situation where we have a homeowner that's assuming the contractor is doing the right thing. Obviously it doesn't make it better, but I guess, where do we stand with trying to get a permitting process for fences so this isn't an issue in the future?
Well, first of all, when they put in the pool, we make them aware that they need a 4-foot barrier
Okay.
around the pool. I don't know if there's we're changing the fence code, tweaking it, but we're not adding a permit at this time. I don't know if there's, I know you want one. I don't know if city council is in favor of something like that, but that's something we can put up in the community meeting when we have it, okay?
So when the pool contractor pulls their permit, they're made aware of the fact that they have a 48-inch barrier that they need to provide
Correct.
to complete their pool permit.
That's part of the process.
Okay. So the pool contractor pulled the permit, they're responsible to complete the permitting process to get their final inspections. And obviously there's no final inspection on this pool project because the barrier failed.
Yes, and maybe Mark can weigh in on this, but I believe that's the story.
Maybe not.
Are you there?
He's there, but he's probably muted. Hey, Mark, if you're there, unmute yourself. All right, we can move on. Are there any other questions from the board?
Yeah, Mike, haven't we had this situation where there's been an existing fence? A couple of them, I thought even back in the same subdivision where there were existing fences down both sides. And then they connected the back section with the same fence. Didn't we just have that not that long ago in this subdivision? Where two established fences were at 3 foot?
I don't believe it dealt with a pool condition.
No. Okay.
Maybe I'm
I thought it was the one where they wanted to go with the cover that was nationally rated to be adequate without a fence, and then they had the smaller
Correct.
fence.
Wait, that variance request was denied.
Okay.
I have a question. Jim, I was reading in the zoning code, there is a number of different ways that you can comply with the barrier for the private swimming pool. One of them is a post and life ring is set out in Lucas County Soil and Water Conservation District guidelines. If they were to install a post and life ring, wouldn't that kind of take care of this issue?
I think that was for pool, for not pools, but for ponds.
Well, this says it's well, let me give you the section number.
It's an R, I think, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, are you reading, that's an R1 district?
I'm reading 115504 private swimming pool. And it's B number 9. Am I under agricultural? Is B agricultural? Is that the issue?
Yeah, there is
But
exceptions.
there's no,
It's a different use, basically.
Dave,
there's nothing in there separating it out for ours because number 8 talks about a R2 district as well.
And then there's a subsequent section basically for fences. It's basically, the only way to get around it is a variance request, because I think we've had that issue come up at least probably a year or two ago on Brown Road, when we had that.
This code section starts off as, except as provided in subsection B8, all private swimming pools shall be marked or fenced as follows. And then it has A, B, C, D, and E as ways you can do it. And it says, you know, A is the 4-foot fence enclosing the pool. B is a 4-foot partial fence consisting of upright posts at the corners of the private swimming pool and every 100 foot along the side thereof, together with lateral supports extending 7 feet in either direction. C is a combination of landscaping, mounds, shrubs, and trees. D is the post and life ring that I read. And E says any combination of the other ones above. So I'm wondering if they couldn't just do the post and life ring, and then this, they don't need a waiver.
But that section reads very hard, by the way. It's kind of convoluted. But if you think I'm interpreting it incorrectly, the board can overturn my decision.
I guess I'm not sure. I was asking for clarification to make sure I'm applying the right section here to this.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the code in front of me. I know we've discussed this many times. Mark, can you add to this at all?
I'm sorry, I got cut off there. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
What was the question?
So, Mark, I was reading in the zoning code under private swimming pools. There's a section that says, except as provided in B8 above, all private swimming pools shall be marked or fenced as follows. And it gives 1, 2, 3, 4 options. And then the 5th option is any combination of the 4 above. One of those options is a post and life ring. And I'm wondering if they install a post and life ring, if they even need a variance for the fence, and the fence could just stay the way it is.
I think that, and that's a problem. We're trying to clean the language up. I believe that's intended just for a pond, not for a swimming pool. We're looking at revamping this section on that.
It says all private swimming pools at the top.
I know.
Right.
They mix
But I think
pools together.
I've had to read it several times in order to make sense of it. And if you read it, I believe it's intended for a pond, as if you.
Okay.
Yeah, that came up. Basically, we had an interpretation of that on the Brown Road incident. I think Zach was the one that interpreted it. Then it's been a year or two ago, where that basically was for a pond condition versus a pool condition. So in the past, we had not allowed the variance because that was strictly, those options basically were for a pond condition.
Okay.
But now, if you guys are looking at revamping the code, and I guess it doesn't sound like the 4-foot fence is going away in the modification of the code. Is that correct?
That's correct. And we're working on that, and we have submitted some changes already to Tina for council to recommend it to the plan commission. So we are pursuing that, and that's on the agenda. I don't know if that's one of them that's into her right now, but that is, we have new verbiage on some of that.
Jim, it seems like there's a lot of pools in that neighborhood. Is every pool in that neighborhood in compliance with the 4-foot fence? Do you happen to know? Or Mark, you might know.
Now, everyone we're aware of, and we've went back on some within the last year and made sure they had the 4-foot barrier.
I can just jump in real quick. There is one pool, the pool you were discussing earlier with the safety cover, the nationwide walk-on safety cover. They currently have 0 fence anywhere around their property.
And that particular case we're still working on. We have contacted them and they're working to put a fence up around it.
Yeah, we denied the pool cover as an alternative to the 4-foot fence.
Correct. And they said because of the pandemic going on, they're having a hard time getting the style of fence they want. They are working on it.
So how do we, how do we address the existing fences? Do they just back-to-back fence with the higher one above the existing 3-foot? If the neighbors doesn't want to remove their 3-foot fence, how do we handle that? On the adjoining lot?
Well, they would have to put it's up to them, they have the 4-foot barrier, so it doesn't have to be on the property line, it can be within. So that's,
So if they couldn't get the neighbor to agree, they would just move it inward.
that's correct. Tina, why I'm on, Randy Ruby is trying to get on. I was wondering if I gave you his number, if you could call him and help him get on. Tina? I can't hear you, Tina.
She's muted.
Are you there? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the number is 419
Mhm.
309 3710.
419-309-3170,
3710.
3710. Whoop,
Okay.
3710. Okay, I'll call him.
All right, any other questions from the board? Is there anybody else here to speak for or against the matter? Nobody?
Yeah, Mark, I just want to make one comment. I'd rather err on the side of safety, maybe because I had to pull a little 3-year-old out of a pool that passed away. So consequently, 3-foot fence is just not going to do it in my book.
All right, if nobody else is here to speak for or against the matter, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we vote on waiver 1641-20. Ron Vukatich.
I'll second. Bill Reed.
Roll call.
Ron Vukatich,
No.
Bill Reed,
No.
Mr. Andrus,
No.
Mr. Golis,
No.
Chairman Rowe.
No. So I guess the next step for you is I'd follow back up with your pool contractor and find out if they were made aware. It's obviously they can't finish their pool permitting until that barrier is addressed, and I would find out from them and go direct to them and find out why that wasn't handled correctly. That's where I would start at least. All right. Our next waiver is W1642-20, waiver of ordinance 182-2006, section 1155.01C, relating to accessory structures. The location is 531 Quail East Drive. The applicant owner is George Rowe. I don't think George is on, but somebody else was on. Is that correct? Oh, there's a couple of you. You're muted. Unmute yourself. The bottom left-hand corner of your screen or your phone, there should be like a mute option, or maybe Tina can. There you go.
Me now?
Yep. So just
Okay.
state your name and your address, and then give us a little background on why you're asking for the request.
Okay, my name's Sue Rowe. I'm George Rowe's wife. We live at 531 Quail East, and we bought a cedar gazebo-like to put on our patio. We have no shade back there, and you say that we need it to be 10 foot off of the house, and I want it like a foot away from the house.
On the patio.
On the patio.
And I did see it. I drove by today. I did knock. Nobody was there, so I snuck a peek and I saw it sitting back there. And again, Jim, this goes back, I believe, back to the open structures where we've had, I don't know, a half a dozen of these, if not more, this year alone, where this is being changed in the code to allow for these open air structures to be closer to the 10-foot, correct?
We had submitted this, and the way it reads is that open structures can be right up against the home.
Yep.
So, and if it's a closed structure, it can be within 3 feet with a rated wall.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the board?
So that you're talking about, Jim, has not been approved yet, but that's how it's been submitted for change?
That's correct. That's what we talked about. Yes, it's in the process as we speak.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Anybody else here to speak for or against the matter? All right. With that, I would entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve. Dave Golis.
I'll second Ron Vukatich.
Roll call.
Mr. Golis,
Yes.
Mr. Vukatich,
Yes,
Mr. Andrus,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Chairman Rowe.
Yes. All right, you're all set. You can follow back up with building and zoning.
Approved.
You've been approved.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. All right, so next waiver is W1643-20, waiver of ordinance 059-2011, section 1165.04F relating to floodplain accessory structures. The location is 2034 Blanche Drive. The applicant owner is Randy Ruby. Jim, were we able to get him on?
I think Tina's working on it, but let me explain to you what's going on here. In a floodplain, accessory buildings are limited to 600 square feet. I did call ODNR, and they said that it'd be perfectly okay if we gave a variance of the 72 feet in order to put the larger accessory building up.
So what drives the 600 square foot?
It's in our code, it's in our floodplain code, and that's approved by ODNR. It's an Ohio code, though, that's in there. FEMA does not have a limitation like that. So
Okay.
that's why we're able to give the variance without getting into any trouble with the floodplain insurance program.
All right. There's no liability or risk from the city standpoint as far as constructing a certain size structure in a floodplain.
No, there would not be, and there would be if we allowed it without the variance, but this is the proper channel.
Okay.
I talked to Alicia Severio from ODNR, and she suggested this.
Okay.
Jim, there's no requirements for flow through flood vents or anything like that on the building?
Oh, yes, those will all have to be met. The anchoring, the flood proofing of materials, the floodgates, all that still has to be complied with.
Okay, thank you.
So I guess my question is, I've got a variance request. I don't have an individual present.
Mike,
Yes.
I've got him on the phone on speaker. We were
Perfect.
having trouble. He kept erroring out. So Randy, if are you ready to say something?
Jim's pretty much knows the situation and got it covered. I mean, I'll do whatever I gotta do for the building, you know.
So back up 1 second, then if you got him on speaker, I guess just have him state his name, his address, and then just so we have him on record.
Okay.
Very present for the meeting.
Okay. Brady, I'm gonna need you to state your full name and your address so that we've got it on record, okay?
Okay. Randy Ruby, 2034 Blanche Drive,
All right.
Oregon, Ohio, 43616.
Okay,
And you heard what the background that Jim gave as far as the approval, basically, or not approval, but the accepting from ODNR. I guess you're of the understanding, you know what's going on with that process.
Randy, can you hear him, Randy? Can you hear Mike?
No, what he asked?
Basically, he said, you know what, do you understand the whole process with the ODNR as far as what's going on and what you have to comply with?
Yeah, well, it's the floodgates and
Okay.
yeah, and I'm 80 feet from any other neighbor on that, so I'm not really affecting anybody as far as it goes a flood.
Okay.
If we had a flood, it's not gonna affect nobody one way or the other besides me.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions from the board?
Mike, I maybe I can lend one other thing that would make a difference, is that the proposed new floodplain maps, which were supposed to be approved in August, or last August, and again in March, hasn't been approved yet, but it shows Randy's property being out of the floodplain with the proposed new map.
Gotcha. So once those get approved, this variance wouldn't even be necessary.
That's correct. And we anticipate that it will be approved. It's just has been delayed.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the board?
Randy, did you have anything else you wanted to add, or is everything okay?
No, yeah, Jim's pretty much covered it.
Okay. Is there anybody else here to speak for or against the matter? Looks like
I
we
got
got,
somebody trying, yeah.
unmute him for me.
I'm trying, yeah.
Hold on one second. We're going to get you unmuted.
Is somebody?
Yeah, there's somebody on here that wants to say something, Randy, but I can't get them unmuted. I don't know why. Sir, can you push your microphone button? It's got an X through it. Just push on it, and that way we can hear you. Is it Mr. Rimza?
Yeah, it says Barbara Rimza.
Yeah, Mr. Rimza. There should be something on your screen, either in the top right or the lower left, that has a microphone with a line through it. If you could just push on that to unmute it, we can't hear you. Let me see if I can unmute him. I'm gonna try something else. Yeah, it's just I have to ask him. I can't do it from here.
Okay.
There we go.
There he is.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, hit it again. You just hit it one more time. Hit it one more time. Whatever you just did.
Do it one more time. He must have double hit it, I bet you. Whatever you did, do it again.
Who do you need now?
I've got somebody, it's the Rimza, R-Y-M-S-Z-A.
All right. They go. I got it.
Okay. I can't do it because you started. Okay, are you there? Oh,
There. There you go. There you go.
he's
Undo
off
it
again.
He's off again.
There it is.
Asked him to unmute it.
There you go. You're good. Go
You're
ahead.
good.
Okay. We're good.
I'm concerned of where the water's gonna go from, we live right next door, and I'm kind of curious to where all the water's gonna go from the roof. Every time it rains, I get a lot of water in that side lot from all the neighbors, and it floods my yard, my crawl space. I'm just curious to where his water is gonna go. Is it gonna go into the side yard? As usual?
Hold on,
It's an
hold on,
80
Randy, hold on, just 1 second.
In regards to the water management, before he would be able to build the garage, he has to get approval from the city engineering department. He'll have to submit a site plan and show exactly where the water goes before it gets approved. That's not what this board is here tonight for. This board tonight is here for a variance on the size of the structure only, not where the water goes. So he definitely has to provide that information to the city and get approval and show exactly where that water is going to go from his structure. That's a whole nother approval process with the city engineering department.
Okay. I don't care what he builds. It's just, I'm just concerned about the water.
Got it. Yep.
I've taken a note of that, and I'll make sure that Paul Roman's aware of it. And I'm sure he is. That's a water problem over there in that area.
Randy, did you have something you wanted to say?
Not really. I mean, there was never any problems with the other garage that was there that burnt down. And I mean, causing water problems. That field is really low. I mean, it is real low, and the rain floods it. And there isn't nothing anybody can do about it besides the owners, and the owners aren't going to pay to do anything because it's in the hands of a trust with a lawyer and a girl that is autistic, and it is for sale. The lots are for sale, but nobody's even inquired about them besides me.
Okay,
It's irrelevant.
okay,
I'm 80. I'm 100 feet from his house.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here to speak for or against the matter? All right. With that, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we vote on waiver 1643-20, Ron Vukotic.
I'll support Dave Andrus.
Roll call.
Mr. Vukotic,
Yes.
Mr. Andrus,
Yes.
Mr. Golis,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Chairman Rowe.
Yes. All right, you're all set. So I guess our final waiver we'll come back to, but I don't see anybody on this Zoom call. Anybody additional? Is there a Richard Kuchar or anybody here to speak for Richard Kuchar?
Randy, I guess we're good.
Nobody?
Okay.
So
Good.
Lee, I don't know if I've ever had a situation where somebody didn't show up, so.
I called him.
So do we just push this to next meeting's agenda?
That's what we've done in the past.
All right. So with that, I guess we will adjourn the meeting at 5:44 PM.